Imagine a machine with 1 trillion moving parts that heals itself and requires zero electricity. For decades, China played a high-stakes game of chemical roulette, pouring millions of tons of synthetic toxins into the soil to feed 1 billion people. It worked until it didn't. The pests evolved into superbugs, the water turned into a poison cocktail, and the soil literally quit. China was staring at an agricultural apocalypse that no machine could calculate a way out of. If the world's strongest chemicals failed, what happens when you decide to deploy life as your primary infrastructure? This isn't a farm. It's a high-octane deployment of China's Emerald Battalion. Across 73 million acres, China replaced an entire chemical industry with 3 million living soldiers. These birds are 4-in-1 biological multi-tools. Their feet churn the mud to pump oxygen to the roots. They hunt with 99% accuracy to devour rice eaters, and their waste is high-grade organic fuel injected directly into the earth. But how do you stop your own army from eating the very harvest they were sent to protect? Spider silk is the god material, 6 times stronger than steel and tougher than Kevlar. But you can't farm spiders because they are cannibalistic. So, China used CRISPR to insert spider silk DNA directly into the silkworm. The result? Docile worms that spin battlefield-grade armor. In 2023, this biological factory produced a fiber 6 times tougher than any synthetic ever made. What happens to war and medicine when your clothing is stronger than a tank? Welcome to the nightmare of Guangzhou. A phantom enemy, the silver-striped stinger, was tearing through the city with dengue fever. In 1 year, 47,000 people were hospitalized in a single outbreak. China tried to drown the city in insecticide, but the stingers just laughed. The chemicals were killing the spiders and birds that naturally kept the numbers down, clearing the way for a mosquito population explosion. What if the only way to kill a monster is to rewrite its DNA to destroy itself? On a remote island near Guangzhou, China built a factory of death for mosquitoes. They infected male stingers with a biological glitch called Wolbachia. When these glitch males mate with wild females, the eggs are programmed to never hatch. We're talking about a factory that manufactures 5 million biological delete keys every single week. Can a single glitch in a lab wipe out an entire species in a city of millions? The rollout was a masterclass in biological engineering. These glitch males flooded the city, hunting for mates. Within the release zones, the entire population didn't just drop, it cratered by up to 83%. In some sectors, the species was almost completely deleted. No toxins, no residues, just a silent, genetic signal that ended the next generation. But as the cities were saved, the map of China was being swallowed by a 1,400-mile wall of sand. How do you stop a moving desert? The Gobi Desert is a hungry beast, moving at 1,400 square miles a year. China built the Great Green Wall, the largest tree planting project in history, but in the most damaged zones, the trees just died. The ground was too compacted and too dead to hold a root. You can't plant a forest on a tombstone, and every mechanical tool we had was failing. What kind of creature can do what a billion-dollar reforestation project couldn't? The solution was breathing under our feet in the grasslands of Inner Mongolia. A rabbit burrow isn't just a hole. It's a biological irrigation shaft, a seed trap, and a fertilizer injector. When it rains in the desert, the water usually evaporates instantly. But these tunnels funnel that life deep into the earth, kickstarting microbial activity where chemicals and machines hit a wall. Can we actually calculate the exact number of burrows needed to bring a dead province back to life? China didn't just release animals. They engineered a porosity shift. They calculated the exact density of tunnels needed to reach a rainfall threshold, the point where the soil finally starts to breathe again. In just 2 seasons, these biological drills did what machinery couldn't do in a decade. But while the land was healing, China's Great Lakes were turning a toxic neon green. How do you filter 900 square miles of poison? Lake Taihu, 900 square miles of fresh water turned into a toxic green sludge. In 2007, the drinking water for 2 million people smelled like raw sewage. China declared a state of emergency, spending billions on dredging machines and oxygen pumps. But the algae just grew faster, fueled by decades of industrial runoff. What if you could turn the lake itself into a living, breathing stomach? China stopped using machines and started using the silver scale siphon. These silver carp are filter feeders that breathe algae for breakfast. One single fish can process 11,000 gallons of water every 24 hours. By releasing millions of them, China converted the entire lake into a self-operating biological filtration system. But if the math is wrong, the entire food web collapses. How do you balance a 900-mile biological reactor? This was a high-stakes math problem. Scientists treated the lake like a biological reactor, calculating the exact density of fish to outpace the algae growth without starving the ecosystem. It worked. Transparency skyrocketed and the bloom collapsed. China didn't just clean a lake. They reprogrammed it to clean itself. But China didn't stop at cleaning. They wanted to manufacture the strongest material on Earth. Could a worm outbuild a steel factory? Spider silk is the god material, 6 times stronger than steel and tougher than Kevlar. But you can't farm spiders because they are cannibalistic. So, China used CRISPR to insert spider silk DNA directly into the silkworm. The result? Docile worms that spin battlefield-grade armor. In 2023, this biological factory produced a fiber 6 times tougher than any synthetic ever made. What happens to war and medicine when your clothing is stronger than a tank? The final layer of China's defense isn't digital, it's biological. In city water pipes, sentinel fish detect chemical shifts long before electronic sensors can react. On seismic fault lines, the government monitors animal chaos, snakes waking in winter or livestock refusing to enter buildings, as a primary earthquake warning system. Is it possible that the most advanced technology was already invented by nature millions of years ago? China has shifted the world from the age of silicon to the age of biology. From restoring the Gobi with rabbits to spinning steel with worms, life is the new infrastructure. This isn't science fiction, it's China's new blueprint for survival. Subscribe now to follow the great biological revolution. If you don't keep up, you'll be left in the dust of the old world.